When me and Tonya first sat together, talking about how we imagine our future way of life, or way we will work, or how we will spend time until we die, actually, we just thought about something that must be different from what was existing, because there was nothing that was fulfilling our expectations. So the motivation was to create our own future. We wanted to live like we imagined to live. One important thing is what you do every day, and most people work. So we thought we'd try to shape this work thing in a way we like to be.
You go into, for example, a normal office building. You get into it and you find a lady sitting there just asking you for your name and if you have a date with somebody of the company. This is what would be the biggest mistake to open a beta house. So you need a door where everybody feels welcome to go in. You need a place where somebody can sit down and just have a look. If he feels cozy with the atmosphere and everything, then it's up to him to go to the bar reception to get some information. It's not being demanded to say something or to have the right answer. It's just to come in and have very easy, you're just feeling welcome, whoever you are.
Most of my time I spent in university. I didn't particularly study there, but I liked spending time there. Being at the end of my studies, I thought, how could I have a similar surrounding or a similar place without studying? We just thought that things that are good at university should continue being in our lives. The way you meet people, the time that you spend time together in a course for like 3 or 4 months, and then you split. And then you meet new people. For 3 or 4 months you do like projects together, and that was an excellent pattern in my opinion. I never got bored, and if I got bored it was the end of the semester, so I could leave the thing.
I studied architecture, where you have big co-working rooms for model making, drawing, even though people kind of drew back more into privacy with the laptops coming up. That was still a pretty crowded space. I had similar experiences in terms of co-working, but the competition was a little rougher there. But what I enjoy here is that people are really open-minded and very interested in what we're doing or what I'm doing, and offering help and ideas. Still, if I feel that I need to concentrate and be a little more to myself, I don't feel too overwhelmed with other people kind of, getting too close.
There is a core of people you can talk to again, but you can also meet new people, and that's something quite helpful, because when the space is too small, there's either like a whole group of people coming in, working on one project and then leaving, but you won't have that interaction that you have here. So I think a space should be big enough to bring new people in, but not like too big so that everything gets lost.
What you would expect is, you get a bunch of creatives, in one room, and what happens is a sort of almost sharkish situation, right? Sort of cutthroat competition in one building, but it doesn't.
What I find really interesting is the cross-fertilization of ideas, and when you bring people together from very different backgrounds or very different ideas that wouldn't normally meet.
You have a lot of people from different disciplines in one place, and you could have a multidisciplinary group, but they are not really working together and really adding up the skills of each of the people, no? Where really people get intercultural is where really creative things and new things are happening, and this is how in co-working space how this is being embraced.
I've decided to quit my job. Oh, what happened? Is it your boss? Oh no, you know I like him. Well then, the company? No, the company's all right. It isn't that. It's the people that come into the office. They're so rude and inconsiderate. It's just more than I can take.
I really love the idea of building a space where I can be with all these people doing what they really want to and not what their boss is telling them to do.
People need to love working, and that's what people here do. I find that is the biggest difference, and if companies would be able to involve their workers emotionally more into the products, in the process, and it's not so much about paying the rent. I think that would be a big step towards introducing co-working as we understand it and as we live it now into big companies. It's not so much about sharing a room, it's a value, an ideal that we carry around. If you go into the big companies, people have been sitting there for 10, 20 years, doing the same over and over again, always being scared that their chair might be pulled.
The logic of the market is altered. How is it altered? What we see in a space like betahaus, and that's one of the things that makes it great, is a shift from traditional market situation to something that is more, that is in a sense close to what George Bataille called a gift economy.
Looking at the co-working movement, you can see that there is like a consensus that should be about collaboration, about community, accessibility. That's why it's not only a technical term of people working together, it's about a culture that surrounds them while they're working, that is present for everybody, and that makes, even though without thinking, everybody is like agreeing, so you can expect the other person you meet in a co-working space to at least be open for the stuff you think.
Why, meeting people is the thing I like most about my job. I think it's fun having new people come into the office all the time.
Why do you go to betahaus? You go to betahaus because you don't want to be isolated at home. In the network economy, you need contact. You need face-to-face, you need direct contact with other people. Not only to get new input and new ideas, but also to, of course, to generate work for you. If you only take, you will be ejected at some point. So obviously you have to give something in order to receive. So, it's totally logical. It's almost like an invasion of these sort of gift logic, cultural and social dimensions into this pure economic space that is called the market. And that is something that is just great. I don't think that, beta houses or co-working spaces will lead to some kind of revolution, but I think they can alter the market.
Ultimately, we are going to see the decline of more conventional office spaces, and there is more of an opportunity. People are increasingly having to move further and further and further away from their actual place of work. It makes more sense to work from home, but then you lack the community.
I tried to work at home and it didn't work at all. I was just totally isolated. I didn't talk to people anymore. I had to work all the time, and I do have days where I have to work until really, really late, and there's always someone here, so you never really feel alone. When you work at home, you do not really find the edge or the difference between private and working, which to me personally was a big problem because I could not relax anymore. Everybody knows those times where you're sitting in front of your laptop but there's nothing coming out of your head. You can just take that time, go down to the cafe and mingle with people, and then you get a little relaxed and get new ideas, and you go back to your workspace, and then you can start all over again.
In many ways, work, labor today takes on many of the characteristics that are traditionally connected to artistic practice. This sort of ubiquity of communication and the bombardment that you're exposed to is, I think, very close to production for an audience. It's performative, it's ephemeral, it's once it's done, and then there isn't necessarily a product. You see people, seriously staring in their computers and working out problems, but at the same time, 2 hours later, they're having fun in the cafe. It's a very topological situation. It is a situation in which activities shift, from one end to the other, and stay in the middle and move back and forth. And that's why it works. Here, knowledge, creativity can actually live.